Now imagine, it's September 22nd, you've been waiting all day to play the Separate Ways DLC for Resident Evil 4 Remake. While anticipating the play, you're scrolling your timeline on Twitter, X, and see a peculiar post about Berserk in Japanese, and it looks like volume 42. You hit translate, and chapter 374 has been out all damn day? What? This was my oblivious ass 2 days ago, but anyway, the new chapter is here, and there seems to be a subtle surprise for all of us. Load it up. Yo. So the chapter begins during the third quarter of what took place in 373, but from the Kushan perspective, with sea ships creeping up on Roderick's vessel up until the order was given to latch onto the ship's rear by shooting harpoons, bearing witness to individual Kushan warriors throwing the hooks encased with smoke bombs that crashed through the windows in the last chapter. Once this takes place, we are shown what took place from Ishijo and Serpico's perspective when the Kushan invaded. I think this was one of my favorite instances in the chapter. In this moment, we saw both of them do some quick thinking using their agility to escape the situation. Right before that, we saw that Serpico was in a bind being unarmed while cornered, but for a moment there, it kinda looked like he was going to use some unarmed combat that we weren't aware of, especially with that smirk on his face and that dialogue that read, "If I'm unarmed, I'll just have to..." But before he can get to it, Ishijo signals him to follow below deck, especially that moment when his eyes widen with a piercing glare of death towards the raiders. You know Serpico means business whenever he opens his eyes. Even my boy Ishijo got some shine, without even thinking, just rushed to kick one of the raiders back into the water. This was awesome for him, and I feel the writers have been steadily giving him the character development he deserves. He has been slowly and surely shedding the jokester trope, showing more deep moments and bravery as a developing warrior. But all that bravado and quick thinking wasn't going to help because they were surrounded before they even knew it. Everyone on board has been detained, despite Roderick and his men trying to put up a fight to defend the helpless. Here come one of my favorite moments in the chapter because in the next couple of panels, we see Azan being detained as well by the Kushan, but without putting up a fight. They just surrendered, even though Azan has the ability to fend off these Kushan since he is one of the only seasoned warriors on the boat besides Guts and Serpico. I think he decided to take the route of least resistance because he realized that the raiders are not harming any of the passengers. Like stated before, everyone is being detained and held prisoner. Even Roderick and his men who drew weapons against them were taken down with non-violence. In a way, it seems like we were misled by their intentions because in the last chapter, the raiders came off like they were looking to harm them, given the way their eyes were all white as if possessed, and this warrior was licking his weapon, giving off the impression that they were looking for blood. Therefore, seeing this situation, I think the old man took the wise choice to continue to watch and see what these Kushan are after instead of provoking bloodshed, like a seasoned vet would. It also looks like him and the other two men he was accompanied by were stationed outside of the bunker that Guts locked himself in. Seems they were there to keep watch over Guts, should he make any move to come out, leading to the moment that they break into the bunker like in the last chapter, which put Azan in high alert, worried that Guts will go berserk. Even as the Kushan enter to check out what's in the bunker, you can visually see the worry in their faces, then translates into fear after when they see Guts on the floor holding the Dragon Slayer. Even after kicking his hand away from the hilt, Guts' natural instinct to try and grasp his sword again puts fear in them. Luckily, he was too tired and mentally exhausted to even pick up his sword and defend himself. This gives him the opportunity to secure him in chains, but we see an image of chains breaking on his cloak, also chains locking. I presume the panel on the right is what's happening in Guts' mind with the beast, and on the left is in real life with the Kushan raiders securing him. In the next page, we cut to the upper deck where everyone is being held captive and Roderick is trying desperately to be chivalrous as always, trying to communicate to the raiders to not harm the women and the children, and we even see that Ishijo and Serpico have finally been detained as well. While unable to communicate, Roderick proceeds to discuss with Magnifico and his men about the situation. Indirectly, we are being reminded that they are not familiar with how things have been going on in Midland since they have been at sea. They're not aware of Falconia and what has happened to Emperor Ganishka's empire since leaving Britannis with Guts and the crew, thinking that the Kushan Empire succeeded in overtaking Midland and are now expanding to conquer neighboring countries, which is why they were encountered here at sea. Roderick has come to the deduction, like Azan did, that something is off because they could have wiped them out easily from the start. As Magnifico shouts and whimpers like a coward, He looks to the mages to use magic to safeguard everyone, but they inform him what I predicted from the last chapter review. I'm a bit confused as to why Shirke is doing this, or even alone, since Gedfrin and the other sages are there. Recalling that Serpico mentions that people are losing their powers, is it possible that they can't really do much outside of Elfhelm? He seems to look useless here. Their powers were lost once Elfhelm vanished, and they are rendered useless outside of that realm. As Rajik ponders what their real motive is, we get panels showing the Black Swordsman crew are being held captive, and randomly, a low-res view of Salat and Natapa is far off on another ship overlooking the situation, with another panel showcasing Guts' feet walking, but in the next page, we see it is because the raiders are pulling him up to walk by the chains. In the middle of it all is the raid leader whispering to a Midlander draped in Kushan armor. I mean, if it ain't obvious seeing that Salat is off in the distance, it's my boy Rickard. I knew this was the route the story was headed since the end of chapter 372 when Griffith said it was time to head east, but I didn't think that Guts would be reunited with Rickard and Salat so soon. Unfortunately, there wasn't a date posted at the end of the chapter like always because it just says continues next time, but regardless, I'm very excited to see what happens next in 375. I wonder how Guts will react to seeing Rickard, especially since he lost Casca this time around. I also wonder how Rickard will interact with Guts in his broken state and realizing that Casca is nowhere to be found. I also wonder how the crew will react to meeting another member of the Band of the Hawk. What did you all think of this chapter? Drop your thoughts down in the comment section and make sure to leave a like and subscribe to stay locked in for new Berserk and other content coming down the pipeline. You know the vibes. It's Kaizoku Sleven. Appreciate you.